Hi, welcome back to my channel. Now, I'm gonna tell you about the book, the textbook from Biligo. The name is Korean Made Simple. Does anyone love Korean language or love Korean drama, Korean music? So now, let's start. The first one is I want to tell you about the general in this book. This title book is Korean Made Simple. The author is Billy Go, publisher by GoPublisher Korean. They published 2018, number of pages 176. The genre is workbook. So the content of this book is a Korean textbook for Korean learners by a Korean learner. Oh my god, sounds interesting, right? So here is the chapter. Chapter 1 explain about saying hello. We will know how to introduce yourself to others in Hangul. There are many rules and examples you will deserve. Chapter 2 explain about likes and dislikes. After knowing how to introduce ourselves, this chapter explain about how to express your feelings and emotions to other people. In this chapter, we will learn how to express emotions related to likes and dislikes. Chapter 3 is simple sentences. In this lesson, we will learn how to make simple sentences. We will also learn about basic sentence structure in Korean language. Chapter 4, learn about wanting and not wanting. In this chapter, we will study how to express our wants and what we don't want. How to ask for things politely also we will learn in this chapter. Chapter 5, explain about verbs. This chapter we'll learn all about verbs. We will know how to use verbs to make our own sentences and conversations. Chapter 6, explain about more verbs. This chapter is containing a more of Korean verbs. Chapter 7 is talking about asking questions. This chapter will explain about how to ask questions in Korean. Chapter 8 explain about more questions in Korean. We will learn how to make more natural sentences using some new grammatical forms. Chapter 9 is adjectives. We will learn about how to describe people and things using adjectives. We are allowing to express ourselves in more detail. Chapter 10 is about more adjectives. We will learn about descriptive verbs in the previous chapter, how to use them to directly describe people and things. Chapter 11 is about colors. In this chapter, we will learn about colors. We will also learn some new important vocabulary words. Chapter 12 talk about numbers. In Korean, there are two different number systems. We will discuss about the first number systems, which is Sino-Korean numbers. Chapter 13 talk about the next number system in Korean. We will learn pure Korean numbers. We will also learn what distinction between Sino-Korean numbers and pure Korean numbers is. Chapter 14 talk about negative sentences. In this chapter, we will learn how to make negative sentences. We'll also learn about negative verbs. Chapter 15, in this chapter, we will learn about Korean marks. In the previous chapter, we also learn the difference between each of them. Chapter 16 is talking about telling time. We'll learn how to tell the time as what we have learned about Korean numbers. Chapter 17 is about shopping. We learn how to count money, purchase things, and ask for things. We will also cover grammatical forms for expressing to and from a person. Chapter 18. In this chapter, we learn essential vocabulary related to family and relationships. We learn the basic vocabulary for relationships. Chapter 19 explain about informal Korean. We will learn how to switch from formal form to informal Korean. We will know how to conjugate the form which is the common popular form in use in Korean. Chapter 12. Explain about past tense. This chapter will cover how to speak using the past tense. And then let's continue the task. For me, simple translation exercises follow each chapter. Translate sentences to English and then another exercise on translating to Korean. To be honest, I'm not that much of a fan of such exercises. I prefer fill in the blanks joining sentences, etc. I don't know about you, but I'd rather not have an exercise asking me to translate to English. Most of the time, learners have a problem producing sentences, so I will rather focus on fill in the blank types of exercises. Overall, on the chapters, I have to give Billy a thumbs up for putting so much detail in effort. I can totally understand how he's trying to help each learner by providing more information. That being said, I found the amount of details really overwhelming. So now I will recommend this book. This is a great book for those that are starting out, and it will give you a great foundation for learning the Korean language. But on its own, it will not take you that far. I highly recommend continuing with Korean Made Simple too after this, as it will give you more of a base to build your Korean knowledge on. And then I can say from experience that all the vocabulary in this book is definitely worth learning, although bear in mind you won't learn everything first time, so don't beat yourself up if you can't get a word to stick. Overall, the 100 words in the book is almost nothing in terms of language proficiency, but it's definitely a huge step to understanding the language. Korean Made Simple was organized by writing system Korean culture and even history. Learner learn over 100 vocabulary words and phrases through 12 in-depth and fun lessons filled with plenty of examples. Additionally, practice sections with answer keys are built into every chapter. This book also contains additional advanced level notes for more skilled Korean speakers looking for a review of basic grammar and concepts. Therefore, this book is made in full of basic Korean language, include more technique for enhanced Hangul skill. What can be improved by this book is, I think there are two sections. The first one is vary the exercises in each chapter, and then having longer dialogues in the later chapters. So we can so this book is can be more improving than before. So I want to add the last point is, I think I giving advice to the author to make this version in Indonesian language, because there are because not all of people understanding English, right? So it will be good if Billy is trying to make in Bahasa version. So for Indonesian people who can't understanding English languages can more easier to learn basic Korean from this book. Okay, so this is all of my review of Korean Made Simple by Billy Go. Please waiting for my next video in this YouTube channel. So Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment for me to get the higher score of math of final extensive reading task. Thank you.